Hello everyone, my name is Kurt, and today I'm going to go through a Windows LLM, or local large language model setup that I set up in my home, which is going to be temporary because I'm using Windows 11, and then eventually I'm going to move on to a different OS. But here in front of you is already the completed setup, already done, and then after we're done here, I'm going to go through the parts that I used to build to build my local LLM. So here you can see that it's already up and running. It's basically plug and play. I selected a NVIDIA RT Pro 4000, as you can see here. You can see that it's 24 gigabytes of VRAM, and you can see here that it has access to another 46 gigabytes of RAM, which in turn allows it to run a maximum of 70 gigabytes of RAM that can be used for running models. Here you can see I'm running at a cool 32 degrees Celsius, so not too bad. Also, you can see right here that already Windows is sucking up close to 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, as you see here, I have a total of 93, actually, 96. So if we go here, I can show you my system that I'm running. Over here, make it a little more easier to see. Scroll down. So you see here, I'm running a AMD Ryzen 9 9955HX CPU. I guess you can tell what type of PC this is. It's running 96 gigabytes RAM, and here is the GPU card that's installed, not in the PC itself, but you'll see. And it's got a 2 gigabyte graphics card and 2 terabyte of hard drive space. This is actually a MSForm MSA2 mini PC. So there you have it. So here I am going to demonstrate various models that I have on here so you can see the speed. So when I move to a newer OS, compare the difference. For right now, I'm running Ollama. All right, and here's going to be my list of models that I have here. As you can see, I have a few. So now we're going to go ahead. Let's first start running this one here, this Ollama model here. And we're just going to do a simple little test. Okay, and then we're going to run this one, and then we're going to run this one. All right, and then just pay attention here. You'll see this stuff start to populate, and you start seeing the graphs going. And you start seeing the temperature here. Also, before we start, let me get this command ready. All right, and you see this camera command here. Basically, what we're going to look at here is how many watts it's using. Right now, it's idling at 6 watts. All right, nothing, because I have no model running. So we're going to type Ollama run, and let's go ahead with this simple one right here. All right, now we're going to hit it. You should see a spike. All right, so you get the spike, and now you see what it took. Let's take a look here. We'll go up, arrow, and use 18 watts here for that initial spike. Probably went up a little higher. And then we can see over here that we're using approximately 8 gigabytes of VRAM out of my 24 gigabyte of VRAM. All right, and then here, 2. See temperature and all that stuff. So 32. Running a cool 32 degrees Celsius. So we're just going to let's do a simple little thing here. Write a 50-word story. All right, let's hit it. Let's see what type of spikes we get. Notice temperature went up, and we got a little quick spike, and here was done. But I forgot to do one thing here. Let's do this. Set verbose, so we can see the amount of tokens and stuff like that. So let's try it again. All right, so we're going to write a 50-word story, and we're going to hit that. And there we go. So now we see how long it took, right? So this is what we got here. So it reduced 128 tokens per second, obviously, because it's a small model and it fits nicely in here, and you got a whole buttload of overhead to choose from. So the input, the prompt, 102 second. So there you go. It took a total of that many milliseconds. So let's go ahead and copy this. Put it in our handy dandy notebook. Guess you can see what models I'm going to be running. All right. So the next one we're going to run that, and we'll do the same thing, and we'll see the difference. So let's go ahead and select by. We'll get out of that, right? And then we're going to do our list. And then let's go ahead and stop. Well, it'd be good if I put the model. And now we see it wind down. Now we're going to go ahead and type run. Let's do this one. And there we got. Now we're going to see this to tick back up. And you can see here, this is a 6 GB model. All right. And now we're going to do set verbose. And now we're going to do the same thing. Write a 50-word story. And we're going to hit the magic enter. Now watch the graph go. Let's do this. We're still using 145 watts out of 145 watts. Look at it again. Still using the same amount. And you see we jumped up, and we're using close to 9 gigabytes of stuff. All right, there you go. 74 tokens per second. Took 1 minute and 49 seconds. So let's go ahead and copy this. Go back to our notepad. And let's go ahead and put that right here. And now, let's run this big model here. You can see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit the magic buy. All right. Then we're going to hit up arrow key. And then we're going to hit stop. And you see it come down. We'll let the temperature come down here. So once that temperature comes back down to 30, 32 was before, we'll start the other test. So we'll be right back. All right, so it's getting there. But again, this is running on a Windows 11 and it's running on that mini PC MSA2 as you saw before. And this is not going to be the permanent setup. I'm going to change over to OS, and then video 2 we'll go through how I'm going to reformat the MSA2 and put on a different OS, and then run Ollama again, and we'll go through the same test, and then we can compare if is a Linux version faster than a Windows version by doing the same 3 models and then the same 3 the same one test. So it's going down a little bit slower than I want. What's coming up next in this video is going to be going through the parts of what I purchased and how I assembled it. It's going to be a little, well, once again, it's going to be one of my fantastic, ill thought out videos. On the fly, you'll see when it comes up, when I go through the parts and all that. But again, this is going to be a multi-part video series where, as you can see, this is part 1 where I run it on Windows. And then we're going to move over to a Linux system. And then that's going to be in a permanent system where I'm going to allow other PCs to access it. So it's going to be a standalone system, which is going to run various models at any time. So we're going to go through all that too. I'm also going to go through doing a remote session here on another PC and just doing a little simple test so you can watch these graphs here pop up and stuff. So we'll be right back again while I let this cool down a few more minutes. All right, it's down to 34. We started, 32. So now let's go ahead and run this other model. Let me just go ahead and list it out. All right, so we're going to run this model. Notice it's 59. And just watch what happens, okay? So let's go ahead and do Ollama run. And let's run this big boy here. Now, keep an eye on all this stuff right here. Now, notice. It's going to suck this up. And notice here, it's using, see how much shared memory? So it's using the actual RAM on the box. Now remember, the RAM on the MSA2 is DDR5. And on the GPU, it's DDR7. So, I mean, there's a big drastic change here in speed between how this can process and how this can process. Now, this is going to be uber slow. You see up here the memory going. Look how bad the disks are writing. CPU's up, okay. And then we went up a degree on the temperature, a couple more because it's really working hard on this, trying to load it in, which it did. So now we're going to go ahead and hit set verbose, assuming I can always spell it right. All right, now we're going to hit enter. Now in this case here, I'm going to knock it down to a 25 word because I ran this, and yes, it does take some time. You'll see. So let's go ahead, let's do write a 25 word story. Let's see if we can do it. Story. So let's go ahead and hit the magic enter button and let's go through stuff. And here it's starting to go up in wattage. Just look here. 25 watts. You see how slow it is, right? You see how slow it's like, what is that, 1 word a second or something? You can see how it's using a total of 60 gigabytes of memory. It's using 20 on the GPU and 39 on the memory itself out of the 96 that I have on this thing here. So that's why it's uber slow. All right, and now you can see it did. Look at that. Look how many words per second. 1.12 tokens per second. So basically, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, each one of these words is basically a second it took to do it. And look at the input. All right, 32. So let's compare it to the other ones here. So let's go ahead and do this. Hit this. All right. And now let's go to our notepad and hit this. And now you have it, right? So look, so you have total duration. Look how many milliseconds. 1 minute. Now this is 36 seconds because we did 25 words. I don't want to spend minutes here doing this. So then we look at the load duration, 69, 109, and 103. Seems normal. 32 tokens. That's prompt count. 32 tokens. They have 17 tokens. And then 102. Remember, this is on 50. These two are on 50. And this one here is on 25. So it can be a little different here. But this is one token. 74 and 128. So, I mean, you can tell the difference in size, right? This one filled up the GPU. This one here was slower, but this one here was faster. So it just goes to prove what model sizes, what difference in model size can do. So there you have it. So now what's coming up in this video, next right after this, will be me going through the parts and assembling my system. But before we do that, let's go ahead and quickly do a remote session. I'm going to go on to another PC, and then you're going to see me, this stuff here, start to populate. So let's get that all set up, and I'll be right back. All right, so here I'm on a different PC, actually a different Windows PC, and I'm using, as you can see here, Page Assistant on Chrome to log into this system here. So before we go ahead, let's get let's get rid of this model here. So let's go ahead and do a buy, right? And then we're going to do a stop, and we're going to see that wind down. So let's just put in a simple, well, here I don't have to worry about it. All right, so we stopped the model. Now we're going to let this cool down here for a second. All right, so here I have Dolphin here selected, which I'm going to remove. We're going to go select this one here. Okay, and now let's go ahead and tell it to write a 50-word story. So let's do let's see what happens. So see, spiked up, right? And it sees writing it, and it did it already. So you can see that it has contacted the server. It's contacted my working server model here, and we're on two different PCs. This is running, of course, the MSA2, and then I'm on another Windows PC here. So now, don't forget to go down below for description. There should be information on the description of the parts that I used. If not, they'll be flashed up on the screen for this next part here. So continue on with the video, as you will see as I go through building this system here. I know this video is going to get long, but it is what it is. And then what we're going to do in video 2 is we're going to strip this. We're going to strip this down. Let me get rid of this other thing here. We're going to strip this down. We're going to remove the Windows 11 on the MSA2. We're going to go over to the latest Ubuntu, whatever you want to call it, server 2604 at the time of building this system. So watch the rest of the video with the parts, and then I'll be producing another video, part 2 of this, and then showing you how to install Ubuntu on the system, and then we'll go through this whole system again, and we can compare notes between Windows and then the Linux. We'll be running the same models. All right, so continue on with the video. Well, now I'm going to go through the parts that I purchased to get my LLM up and running. So here for you is one of them. It's the docking station that is from Minis Forum, which I'm going to use to obviously put on the power supply, the GPU card, and then the power to it, and also the link. So you can get this either from Minis Forum or from Amazon. They both were the same price, so I purchased this at Amazon because the shipping was 2 days, I guess. Got it within 2 days. Now let's just go to the back here, and now you can see. See it unblurs. You can see that gives you the ATX and SFX power supply, where to place them. So I purchased an ATX, which we'll go through here in a minute, and this is where your cable will go through. So in addition to the docking station, you did get a cable, and then you got this little handy thing that will go on the power supply, and then lock your card in, lock the GPU card in, so it doesn't go back and forth left and right. So the next item I purchased was the power supply, as I mentioned before, and I bought an MSI 750 watt power supply. It's an ATX size, and you can see it's the mag A750 GL and supports PCIe E5 products. So that's 750 watt. And of course, what came with this in addition was this nice little bag cables. You can see here, power cable, which, how many of these you have lying around, right? Bet you have a couple dozen of these lying around. So your typical power cable. And then big slew of cables. Look at all these cables that come with it. Of course, we're not going to be using, I'm going to be using two of them. We're going to be using the main cable. And it's one of these smaller ones, or the one that comes with your GPU card. So you get a buttload of cables. This is the one that we're going to be using. Alright, and then after that, after I purchased all the power supply and docking station, got some smaller screws here too, along with these screws. So let's put all this stuff back in the bag here. These screws out. And the next thing I bought was, of course, the too bright here, but the next thing I bought was the LetLinkSo card. This is going to go into the MSA2 using the half height PCI slot that's in there. And basically, you can get yourself a screw. You're going to have to use this tab here because it's again, we have a half height slot in the MSA2. And then, of course, you have the card itself. So let me take it out. And there's the card. We're going to have to take this off and put this one on, which is attached with these two screws. Again, I purchased this on Amazon. And go down in the description. I'll just leave the model numbers of what I purchased, so you can go track them down yourself. And then go ahead and bring over the docking station again. All right, docking station. And let's bring the power supply over. All right. Now, obviously, you can't put it this way because this gets in the way. So we're going to put it this way. And it'll just line up to the two holes, which you can't see. That's how I'm doing it. We'll line up to the ATX. So let me just get it screwed on, and then I'll show it to you. I'll flip it over and I'll show it to you. I see here I just used the thumb screws and just hand tighten them in. And you see I started with the ATX slot, which automatically lined up with the second slot. So there, and now you have the power supply in. Well, that's what it looks like right here. So then the next thing would be, of course, to attach your power to the system here. So let's just flip this over real quick. Okay, we got these, so we're gonna have to go to here to here. We're going to grab our cable. We'll put a cable here and a cable there. So let's go ahead and do that next. So here's the cable that we're going to use. I don't know if you can see that, but there it is. So this one is going to go here. And of course, this and this will go onto the side here. But let's just first get this unraveled. And then we can manipulate the camera so you can see it better. Never throw these away. So it's uber long. All right, it's got to be at least 18 inches long. So we're gonna shove this into here. Got that in there. And now we're gonna plug this into the side, and I'll flip this over so you can see it here in a minute. All right, so now we got it flipped over. All right, we'll straighten this out here in a second. So let's flip this over here for you so you can see. All right, so you can see I put it into the thing marked ATX 24P, and then on the other side here I put the other cable in that's marked ATX 24P again. All right. And now we're going to straighten this out here. Now we have it tucked away, nice and neat, out of the way by using the same tie. And that's that part. So before we move on to the GPU that I bought, we need to now go to the MSA2 and install our card, our little Oculink card here. And then we will obviously put on the, what the hell is it? This thing, which was going to hold our card, and rack them back left and for walking this way. And let's flip this over again. You can see the hole, which is right there. So this will go just like that on there, and then again use one of your thumb screws, and it'll be nice and neat. And you can always tighten these down because it has slotted or Phillips. All right, so let's move this to the side, and let's go ahead and bring MSA2 over and open that up and install the. Now you can see I already took off the larger or the longer tab here and put on the shorter one. Basically, again, it was this screw, and that screw just unscrew it. It's a little tight, so you have to use a little force to get it to unloosen it. So that's no big deal here. So we're going to be, all right, I'll put that in there. Move this out of the way. Move a couple things out of the way here. Slide this to the side. Keep it on the anti-static stuff, which is always good. And let's bring in our MSA2, which everybody and brothers probably did review on them, so I'm not really going to go through it, other than it's a 96 gigabytes, got the 9955, was it Ajax CPU, 2 terabyte hard drive on this, and soon to have a card in it. So basically, open it up again. It's just this button here. Just take it and look at that. It comes right out. And then we got our bloody fan here. And we got this. I had this for, what I had this for? 18 months? At least a year. So I didn't pay the prices that you see now. I think I paid approximately $1,200 for it. So fully loaded, not bare bones. Still relatively clean in here. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to, let's see if you can see that. Maybe not, but let me move my screw set, my small little screwdriver set out of the way. So there is a screw right here that you have to unloosen, and then so you can get the tab out, so you can get the tab here, this thing out. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, this is since I haven't done it, so it's a little tight. Do not use a magnetic screwdriver. Okay. And then you should be able to just press this down here. It's getting stuck underneath the, you can, I don't know if you can see it, but it's getting stuck right there. So let me just look at that a little further. and see we can get this out. Get the screw out. And there we go. So we'll put that in our little box here so we don't lose stuff, right? So we get the one screw there, and then we have the other screw here in case we need it. This one here you're going to have to put back in. You have to put that back in. So now we should be able to just push that out and pull this out. Okay. And then we should be able to get this slot out here. Oh, let's take a look. There we go. Hopefully it didn't damage it, right? There you go. So the next thing is to get this card in, right? That's going to slide right in here. I'm going to attempt to slide it right in there. That's exactly what that. There we go. I'll push it in. I'll push it in. And yes, there we go. Snapped right in. So we get that. Let's look over here. I have it right there. Okay, now next we have to put in this tab again. This tab has to go back in. Snaps in. And now we got to take that screw again. And there's done. Easy peasy, right? We didn't need this. We didn't need that one. So put that to the side. Let's get our, I gotta get something organized here before I move on. Case. Shove this thing back in it. And there we have it. Let's look on this side again. And there's our new card. That's going to link to the GPU. So let's put this to the side. Don't need this now. So now we're going to bring back our docking station, this power supply. All right, so let's go ahead and bring out the GPU card, and then we'll put it in here. Now, this is the GPU card that I purchased. This is PN from PNY. It's a 24 gigabyte VRAM card using the architecture of Blackwell. So some people, you might notice when you go look at other GPUs that you'll see like Foundation, OC, a couple of different terminologies. Blackwell is NVIDIA's, I guess, first iteration that was designed to work with AI models. Okay, that's what the Blackwell basically is. It was designed to work with AI models. Doesn't mean you can use it for gaming. Probably, I wouldn't know. I'm not a gamer. I'm going to use it obviously for running local models here in the house. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. So again, we get a power cable. I'll rip that out, and then of course let's get out the card here. So we have the card here. So let's just cut this open first. So it's got its own power cord here. Does not look intimate. So what we've all been waiting for is opening this bad boy up. All right. And there you have it. So what did I purchase? What model is this again? So let me go through that right now. So what I purchased was the RTX 4000 Pro or RTX Pro 4000 with the Blackwell architect on it. You can see this has one fan, and of course you have your PCI connection, and then it's got a bunch of video connections here, and it looks like the old display port. So this is what we're going to use for our local LMI. So let's go ahead and bring the docking station and power supply back over, and let's insert this into that and get it all stable and get it plugged in, and then we'll go ahead and power it all up and everything and see what happens. What's the worst going to happen? Smoke. The GPU did come with this adapter, right? 16 pin, I guess. What's this? 16 pin. It's an 8 pin for, power supplies that don't have, was it PCIe 5 support? But since the power supply that I'm using does support that power supply comes with a cable of its own, and it's yellow, so you can't miss it. And then that will plug directly into the GPU and then directly into the power supply. Thus, you don't need this. Okay, so that you can just put in your stockpile of other cables that you probably never use. So let's go ahead and bring the docking station back over and install this, connect this, and then maybe clean it up. And then we'll put this great bracket on, and to prevent it from going this way when using. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll move this to the side. So we got our docking station now, right? So we're going to go ahead and pull this out. Just be very careful. Expensive. This is the heart of the system, and the MS-A2 is the brains of the system. That's where all the intelligence is going to sit. So let me just put this over here. Put this back on the static tag. So we're going to go ahead and slide it into this. Now you can see from here there's a single fan, and that's where we're going to connect the cable to. All right, so now we got that there, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this stabilized here. Always save these. I'm going to stabilize that by putting this here, and it's going to go like that. So we're going to go ahead and use thumb screws again. So I'm just going to turn this around here a little bit so I can get to it a little bit easier. That's in there. All right, and then I'm going to get another thumb screw, put that there. Okay, another thumb screw here. Let's see how tight it is. Good. You don't need to use a screwdriver or anything on these thumb screws. Just if you got the strength, you can just tighten it down without a screwdriver. So that's nice and tight. Now it's not going to do anything here. Now the next is we need to find our what's called a 12 by 2x6 slot. All right, so we're going to lift this up here. Let's see if we can see it. And it should be that one here. It says 12 by 2.6 because this has the 16 pin cable there. It's hard to see, but it's right there. And then also goes in the back here. So where did I put the cable, people? Ah, there it is. So again, you can see it's pretty much hard to not screw this up. And another thing you want to look at this, it says 450 watts there. Now this GPU takes 140 watts, maybe up to 145 if it's working really hard. So this overall, this power supply can power 2 of these, I would assume. But I don't think we have 2 slots on there, but it's no big deal. So we're going to connect this to the backside of the GPU right here. I know we're going to connect it to that 12 by 2x6 slot on the power supply. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have to match this up here. All right, you have to make sure that this goes in the right way, and then you can't miss it. You put it in there. All right. All right. There we go. We have it. Took a little work. Don't be afraid to push it in there. And then we're going to wrap this around. And then we're going to put it into this one there. And we're going to make sure that this here, this small one, is pointed to the right direction, which has to go this way here. And we just slide it in there. You have to push it here. It's a little tight, but now there we have it all up and handy. So now we can take care. Now this is can handle up to 450 watts. So we're gonna put this here. Okay. Okay. And I gotta get another twist tie. So let me give something another twist tie. I have it right here. That's why you keep them. I'm gonna point this into my direction here so I can see it better. So you can see too better. And we're going to leave this like this, but I'm going to just put this right here just to keep this together. Okay, so that's that. Take that out of the way. That's nice and tucked out of the way. These will be fine, because remember, this is portable. I mean, you literally can, carry the MSA2 and this and bring it to somebody else's house. But in my case, it's just going to stay right here like this. And since this is an open air system, the cooling is going to be really good here. And obviously these things are more efficient now with 140 watts. It's not going to be as hot as some of the other cards. So everything's locked down here. We got our new RTX 4000 Pro NVIDIA card here. We got a great CPU here. Now we just need to connect the link to our MSA2, and then we power it up. But there's an order to power this stuff up. So if we look here on the docking station, what's this weigh here? What's this, probably like, I don't know, 5 pounds? I don't know, who cares? You have your power button right here. So to power this up, you want to first power the GPU up. Let it come up when you think it's fully up. Then you power your computer up. In this case, I'm going to be powering up my MSA2 here. So let's go ahead and we're going to power it up here. But we're going to bring it to my rack. I mean, this rack here is phenomenal. You're going to be envious of this rack that I have. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll set this all up and I will connect the cable. Hey, so here it is. It's just a blank wall. Let's take a look and see where it is. Oh, there's a phone, some old Tonka toys. Oh, look, Ubiquity AP. There's a switch. And then there it is. I tell you, man, this is a kick butt rack or what? So there's the MSA2 and there's the GPU over there. So with that, I hope everyone has a happy and wonderful day. I'll see you in part 2, where I uninstall Windows 11, put Ubuntu 26.04 on it, and reinstall Ollama and all the models again and run through the test again. So, until part 2, have a good day.